The New York Jets had one more day of practice, and while it was supposed to be a joint practice, we still got some things to talk about today. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and today we're going to be going over what was supposed to be day 2 of joint practices with the Carolina Panthers. Now, the Carolina Panthers decided to cancel practice when they looked at the weather report for incremental practice, left Spartanburg, North Carolina, and went home to get ready for the game on Saturday, which was a little bit unfortunate because I was excited to see day 2 of practice against the Carolina Panthers. Unfortunately, they wussed out and they left. In reality, they probably took the health of their players and coaching staff into concern and decided that it wasn't worth the risk, especially in the preseason, which makes a bunch of sense. A couple of hours later, we saw that the weather had cleared up and was good enough for practice, so the Jets decided to hold a solo practice in Spartanburg today, which was closed to the fans but open to the media, so we got a couple of tidbits from today's practice. The first thing that I want to bring up is the fact that Garrett Wilson was back at practice today, which was huge. And today seemed like the perfect day to bring Garrett Wilson back because we saw that the team did not practice with pads on at all. This was a much lower intensity practice following the schedule that was set by the Jets and the Carolina Panthers. They were supposed to have a practice today with no pads on, focusing on 7-on-7 drills with 2-minute drills at the end of practice, a shorter session to get ready for the game on Saturday, which makes a ton of sense. This is a phenomenal scheduling kind of thing. Low intensity reps, still giving the opportunity for the wide receivers and the DBs who are less likely to get injured without pads on and all of this stuff to still get some of these full speed reps and looks, while also still giving the quarterback and the offensive line the ability to see different things from the defense and make checks on at the line of scrimmage, was phenomenal. Now, this was a much better day for the offense than yesterday, obviously, which is a good thing going, specifically talking about the fact that it seemed like some of the players on the offensive line got a little bit more comfortable, and we'll get into the whole offensive line drama a little bit later. But that being said, we saw a lot of really good things today from practice. The first thing is Aaron Rodgers went 6 of 7 on 11-on-11 drills. The only bad, I don't even want to say it was a bad ball. It was just a really good play by DJ Reed stopping the pass. A lot of targets to the tight ends. Aaron Rodgers continues to love targeting his tight ends and underneath routes to the running backs. Hitting Israel Abanikanda and Bam Knight, I believe, with short passes underneath. No, I'm sorry, they were both to Bam Knight. And even hitting Garrett Wilson, who was back at practice today, and it was full practice. It wasn't like limited or anything like that, which is some of the reports that we saw. He was going to be limited to reps. No, he was with the team all the way up and down practice, which was great. He looked phenomenal during the warm-ups. There's a couple of videos out there, specifically by Zach Rosenblatt and Rich Samini of The Athletic and ESPN, respectively, tweeting out videos of Garrett Wilson during warm-ups, being able to cut, do all of those things, which is great. Seeing Garrett Wilson working his way back to full health. I'm not ready to say he's 100% at full health because we haven't seen a full practice out of Garrett Wilson in terms of with pads on, and there hasn't been a limited designation on him. There hasn't been one yet. So, again, we're like a month away from the opening of the season, so there's no need to panic or anything like that, but it is good to see Garrett Wilson back on the field. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is obviously going to be the offensive line. Actually, before we talk about the offensive line, let's address the defense. Defense did really good today as well. The DBs continue to play exceptionally well. Sauce Gardner's still not practicing, dealing with the quad. Again, being held out because of precaution, not because they're scared of an injury. They just don't want to aggravate something when there's no need to aggravate anything, especially a month before the season. And that's really the only big news coming out of the defensive side of the ball. I believe Carl Lawson is still being held out because of some back tightness. Again, just being precautionary like that. And guys are working their way back from injury in terms of like Chaz Surratt and everything like that. Now, coming into this Saturday game, the expectation is that the starters are not going to get a ton of reps, just like the Hall of Fame game. But Robert Saleh did keep it open-ended when asked if some starters would play. He said, "We'll see." We know that Zach Wilson is obviously going to be starting the game, probably going to play the first half, and that Tim Boyle is going to run the back half of the preseason game against the Carolina Panthers, but nothing new there. And they're going to try to push Mekhi Becton for as long as he can stand it. And those are the exact words. They want to see a really good chunk of yardage. Oh, not yardage, but a good chunk of plays from Mekhi Becton at this next preseason game, which is a really good sign for us and for the New York Jets and the offensive line and everybody's situation there. But let's address the elephant in the room, the Elijah Vera Tucker question that was asked regarding whether or not they're going to play him at tackle. Here is the reality of the situation, the way that I have my read on the New York Jets coaching staff and the New York Jets decision at offensive tackle. I think that the New York Jets, whether we agree with it or not, feel comfortable with the 5 offensive tackles that they have on the roster right now. And they do not view Elijah Vera Tucker as a legitimate option at tackle for the time being. But the reality is that Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh, when they joined forces to start building this football team, they wanted to get guys that lived, breathed, ate, pooped, only digested right into their veins football. And that's exactly what Elijah Vera Tucker is. And Elijah Vera Tucker creates a security blanket for the New York Jets because the New York Jets have depth in the interior of the offensive line where they don't have depth at the offensive tackle position. Until there is a situation where Dwayne Brown, Mekhi Becton, and Max Mitchell cannot play football in terms of injury or anything like that, I do not believe that the New York Jets are going to give Elijah Vera Tucker a legitimate look at tackle. And it makes sense. Elijah Vera Tucker is a Pro Bowl level guard, all pro level guard, and was marching towards that feat last year before being derailed by injury. And a part of the reason that I think he was derailed by injury was the move to left tackle and then right tackle and then and all of the movement and stuff. They love this kid at guard, and they should. His potential at guard is skyrocketed. It's so high. And it gives them the ability to play who they think, in my opinion, is who they believe is the right tackle of the future in Max Mitchell. Yes, Max Mitchell struggled in the Hall of Fame game, but it's one preseason game. I think that there is a lot more football to be played and a lot more reps to be had before we need to hit the panic button on the offensive line. The reality is that between Dwayne Brown and Mekhi Becton, we have 2 guys that can play left tackle. And while Dwayne Brown is probably going to be the starter and is probably not going to give us a full 17 games, Mekhi Becton, by that time, should be healthy enough and strong enough to play whatever games Dwayne Brown can't. And if in the worst case scenario comes down to it, where we lose both Dwayne Brown and Mekhi Becton, we always have the possibility of moving Elijah Vera Tucker out to left tackle, putting Connor McGovern in at guard, and bringing Joe Tippmann in to play center. So we need to calm down with the panic at the offensive tackle and the offensive line position. We are legitimately one move away from having a solid offensive line, and that's with Elijah Vera Tucker. But that's a move that's only going to be made out of desperation from the coaching staff, not out of a necessity of wanting to play Elijah Vera Tucker at tackle. And that's just the breakdown that I see for this team. We've got 5 offensive tackles right now, 2 of which aren't legitimate options in Billy Turner and Carter Warren. Billy Turner's just not good enough, and Carter Warren's just not ready. He needs more time to get ready for the NFL, and that's okay. We've got our ace in the hole, our golden bullet in the gun, in the chamber, ready to shoot whenever we need it, and his name is Elijah Vera Tucker, and that should fill everybody with ease. So let's give it a little bit longer. This team, you have to believe in what this team is doing. Joe Douglas has built this roster. Coach Saleh has been at the head of the turnaround of this roster, building a team so enticing and so good that a Hall of Fame quarterback wanted to come here. So let's relax. Let's not hit the panic button. Let me know in the comment section below what your thoughts are in the regarding the offensive line. Don't forget to hit the like button. It is the easiest way to support the channel, and to hit the subscribe button if you want to be notified about new Talking Jets with Tigo content. Last but not least, go Jets.